Hello students! Today we are going to talk about how the universe originated. Where did it all start? Where did we come from? What do we see when we look at the stars at night? So, tonight I want you to go outside, look up in the sky, and think about these stars. These stars are created by burning hydrogen gas. Hydrogen is burned in the process called nuclear fusion. So really, the stars are like a furnace, a hydrogen furnace. They not only burn hydrogen, but it is one of the atoms that they do burn in the process called nuclear fusion. Stars burn hydrogen gas. So hydrogen, so let's say these are two hydrogens. Okay, these are atoms of hydrogen. When they crash into each other, so out in space, they're crashing into each other. And what causes them to crash is gravity. So gravity is the force of attraction between two objects. Come together. Two hydrogens come together and they form helium. So hydrogens come together in the process called nuclear fusion. And when they do that, they form helium. So this process is called nuclear fusion. When they come together, they form helium. And they also produce a lot of energy. So this reaction, nuclear fusion reaction, generates a lot of energy in the form of heat and light. This is why the stars are bright, because the nuclear fusion reaction creates heat and light. Lots of energy, massive amounts of energy being produced from this process. But that is what you see when you look at those stars at night. You are seeing nuclear fusion. You're seeing evidence of nuclear fusion. You're seeing the light, which is evidence that nuclear fusion is happening. But where did it all start? Where did the stars come from? If we go back billions of years ago, in fact, if we go back 13.8 billion years, which is hard to even imagine, so close to 14 billion years ago, out in space, there's nothing, just space. That's why it's called space. There's nothing out there. Out in space, there was gas, though. And this gas, this matter, condensed. So it condensed into very, very, very dense space. It's a lot of matter condensed into very small space and built up a lot of pressure. And that pressure was released in the form of the Big Bang. Woo! The Big Bang. The Big Bang theory is the theory that explains how the universe originated. How did it start? It started with this massive explosion of mass and energy. Really, everything in nature, which is everything, is either matter or energy. So it's one or the other, matter or energy. Matter and energy crashed together, a lot of pressure, exploded into a big bang. And this big bang explosion produced a lot of gases. And the gases had different densities. Some of them were thicker than others. And the thickest, densest balls of gas collected other thick, dense balls of gas. And all those thick balls of gas collected more balls of gas. Eventually they got very, very thick. And those gases were made of subatomic particles. So subatomic. And a prefix sub means below. So in other words, these are things that are below the size of an atom. Okay, so they're smaller than an atom. They make up an atom. In fact, in the beginning, it wasn't even the three main parts of an atom. It was like quarks, which are even smaller than protons. So these subatomic particles floating around in space, lots of heat, like billion-degree temperatures here. Lots of heat, all these particles float around in space, these subatomic particles. Pretty soon, they crash into each other, start crashing. Due to gravity, force of gravity combines these subatomic particles together. So for example, like protons and neutrons come together. When they crash together, they form an atom. So all these dense balls of gas made of subatomic particles started to form atoms. And the main atom they formed was hydrogen. Hydrogen is actually the lightest atom. It's the lightest element. It has an atomic number of 1. So that means it has 1 proton and 1 neutron and 1 electron. So hydrogen atoms then were being made. And now we have atoms in space. We have mainly hydrogen atoms in space. As the universe started to cool off, these hydrogen atoms started to crash into each other. And when they crashed into each other, that's the process known as nuclear fusion.